serial violation to its territory. And this is from one side. What should be the legal steps taken against Israel?
Yeah, I think as we heard yesterday, I think the official in Lebanon, I mean the government and the cabinet and so on, as usual, will go to the Security Council, will complain for the Security Council at the same time. But I think this incident will provoke and escalate tensions between
already
of course
escalated existing tensions.
Of course, and but I think Hezbollah may make a response for such attacks, and this is of course will deteriorate the situations again. In Lebanon borders and with Syria at the same time.
Some say that this is a kind of Israeli reaction or retaliation or a kind of
revenge.
Do you mean? Not to this extent revenge, but rather an answer back to Nasrallah's speech just days before.
Because he spoke days before, and at the same time Israel is afraid from the members of Hezbollah that penetrated in Syria and also with the Israeli border at the same time. I think this is maybe the reactions against the support of Hezbollah to the Syrian regime, especially in the south areas beside Israel or in the Israeli borders.
But still, the Israeli action consists a violation to the Syrian territory.
And Syrian and to the international law itself, and to also at the same time against the United Nations resolutions that said before concerning the Israeli attacks on the two years ago against the Lebanon.
I guess we'll have to wait and see what would be the Syrian reaction and what will be the international community reaction towards the continued violations.
There will be no Syrian reactions. I think the reactions will come from Hezbollah. Syria is involved in its
another escalation. That's another escalation. The Gulf today, and Libya's recognized government army declares ceasefire. And it says the army of Libya's internationally recognized government announced that it would cease fire 2 days after a militia alliance announced a truce. The army said it would monitor the situation on the ground to prevent any change in front lines or transportation of weapons and ammunition, which it would consider a violation of the truce. Earlier, the Fajr Libyan militia alliance said it had agreed to a ceasefire on all fronts in the North African country on conditions that the other party respects the truce. It also pledged to open up safe passages to China humanitarian aid, especially in Libya's battleground, second city of Benghazi. What is important is that it comes just after the first round of the Geneva talks. The UN sponsored, of course, Geneva peace talks.
We have to declare that the initiative of the United Nations came very late, but in a way it can be a step for reconciliations, for starting the negotiations between the Libyan factions and all sections and the political parties in Libya. But we have to know that there is two governments, two parliaments, and so on. The United Nations has managed to gather all the partners in Libya, this will be a good sign for possible reconciliations in Libya and in the Libyan ground itself.
Right. The question is right now is whether or not there can be any kind of reconciliation. What reconciliation are they speaking about?
Yeah, they are speaking about a reconciliation between the legal government and the legal parliament with the moderate leaders in the west of Libya, not with the militia, not with the Islamists and the jihadists and the Daesh and so on. We are speaking about reconciliations between the legal and the formal and the Libyan parliament with the moderate from the political leaders in the West.
Yes, but at that point, do you think that they have the power to control the situation on the ground?
This depends upon the Libyan themselves, because they came to around the table very late. They demolished the main infrastructures of Libya. They demolished also the oil fields, refineries and the ports and so on. It is the first sign that Libya declared that they can borrow from the international organizations to face the situations, to face the deteriorated economy.
Libya deteriorated economy.
Of course.
Right. If I may just add to this, that we're speaking here about mercenaries alliance with Daesh to an extent that there are some Daesh groups inside Libya right now we're speaking about. And that we are speaking here about a country that has started to itself as a state. So we're speaking here about a terrorist state on the ground being held on the Swat area of Iraq, Syria, and now Libya. I mean, here, these are countries in which oil exists.
Yeah, of course. We have to know at the same time that there is a connection between all the jihadists all over the Arab countries, in Syria, in Libya, in some African countries like Nigeria, like Chad, and so on. This is the main dangerous element for Libya.
Yes.
And at the same time, we have to know that also we can mention that the jihadists in Yemen at the same time, and as you know that you see all the scenario have much in common in these countries.
Yes, definitely. Definitely, but we'll have to wait until the next round at the Geneva Peace Talks, the UN-sponsored one, and what will happen throughout this period. Mr. Abdul Latif Wahba, political analyst, we thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, too.
Thank you very much. And dear viewers, many thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the top stories coming right after this program.
Welcome back. Updating the hour's top stories. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi delivered a speech on Monday before the World Energy Future Summit held in the United Arab Emirates. In his speech, the president noted that the world's consumption of energy has doubled over the past 4 decades, with expectations that it will double again by 2050. He noted that there are 1.3 billion people worldwide without access to electricity. Half of them are in Africa, which requires unified efforts to overcome the problem hindering development in the continent. The president also said that the region is facing major difficulties that go beyond the shortage of energy. The president pointed out to terrorism, which is growing worldwide and needs to be dealt with by the international community. President al-Sisi said that terrorism has to be dealt with through developmental, social and cultural approaches. The participation of the head of state in the summit as a main speaker comes upon an invitation by Abu Dhabi Crown Prince Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Meanwhile, the president said that Egypt is on the right track to complete the political roadmap. In an interview with Sky News and Abu Dhabi Channel, the president confirmed that there are no restrictions on the freedom of expression in Egypt. During the interview, al-Sisi also emphasized the very special and strong relation between Egypt and the Emirates. President al-Sisi said that the brothers in the United Arab Emirates stood by Egypt and supported it, especially in the field of investments, adding that Emirates businessmen are very enthusiastic to work in Egypt, and that shows the depth of relations between both countries. He stressed that the Emirati government is training about 100,000 Egyptians, 30 of the population between age 18 and 40, adding that many Egyptians are willing to work and help establish a good future for the country. Head of the Suez Canal Authority, General Mohab Mamesh, said that a water leak took place in one of the water bridges in the Suez. Said that the president, this incident happened due to the water pressure from one of the dredges working in the new Suez Canal project. Mamesh added that there were no injuries or deaths, adding the situation was controlled and the navigation is normal in the Suez Canal. And Egypt is to reopen the Rafah border crossing with Gaza for 3 days as of Tuesday. The reopening will allow the Palestinian students who have been stranded on either side to travel through the crossing. The security officials said the crossing will be open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the EU foreign ministers pledged on Monday to counter radical extremists returning from Syria